When I look at Evelyn's personality map through Nakshatra first, and then connect it into MBTI and Enneagram, the strongest message is very clear. This is not a soft, passive, easily led personality. This is a child or teenager with a strong inner command system, a sharp goal instinct, a deep emotional intensity, and a very real need to feel that her life has direction, meaning, and impact. The dominant MBTI pattern here is ENTJ, and the dominant Enneagram pattern is Type 8, with a strong Type 3 achievement drive and a Type 5 investigative layer underneath. Now, this is important because when people hear ENTJ or Type 8, they often reduce it to labels like bossy, dominant, strong-willed, or difficult. That is too shallow. The Nakshatra bridge gives us something far more precise. It shows us why this personality behaves this way, what emotional engine is driving it, what kind of intelligence is operating underneath, and what kind of nurturing this child actually needs. Evelyn's Moon and Mercury are both in Vishakha, and that is the first major key. The moon is the emotional body. It shows what the child absorbs, what she emotionally reacts to, what gives her inner satisfaction, and what disturbs her sense of safety. Mercury is the learning mind, the rational mind, the speech pattern, the intellectual processing system, the way she organizes information and communicates ideas. When both Moon and Mercury sit in Vishakha, the emotions in the mind are working through the same nakshatra code. And Vishakha is not a passive nakshatra. Vishakha is goal-oriented. It wants to achieve. It wants to influence. It wants to prove capability. It wants to grow through effort, competition, social visibility, and the ability to organize life around a clear target. So emotionally, Evelyn does not simply need comfort. She needs progress. She needs a goal. She needs a meaningful direction. She needs to feel that she is becoming stronger, smarter, more capable, more respected. This is why the ENTJ diagnosis becomes so strong. ENTJ is not just a leadership label. It is a psychological engine that thinks in systems, direction, strategy, results, efficiency, improvement, and impact. Evelyn's mind is not satisfied with vague encouragement. She wants to understand what is the plan, what is the purpose, what is the outcome, and what is expected from her. If adults around her are unclear, inconsistent, emotionally chaotic, or weak in boundaries, she may quickly lose respect or become controlling. But the mistake would be to treat this as arrogance. It is often anxiety disguised as command. A Vishakha moon wants to know where things are going. A Vishakha Mercury wants to understand the logic. Mars in Purva Ashadha in the first house wants to act, win, defend, persuade, and move. So when this personality feels directionless, it can become restless, argumentative, impatient, or overly forceful. That is where the Enneagram Type 8 comes in. Evelyn's Enneagram Type 8 pattern says, I must stay strong. I must not be weak. I must not be controlled. I must protect myself. I must protect what matters. I must push through. In a child or teenager, this can show up as defiance, bold speech, resistance to authority, or a refusal to be emotionally managed. But underneath that, there is a profound need for trust. Type 8 children do not open up to people they do not respect. They do not respond well to emotional manipulation, shaming, guilt, or soft threats. They respond to strength, honesty, fairness, consistency, and directness. So if you are parenting, teaching, counseling, or guiding Evelyn, you must understand this clearly. She does not need to be broken. She needs to be directed. Her strength is not the problem. Untrained strength is the problem. Her intensity is not the problem. Intensity without emotional language is the problem. Her leadership instinct is not the problem. Leadership without humility and empathy becomes the problem. Mars in Purva Ashadha in the first house makes this even sharper. Mars represents action, logic, courage, competition, physical drive, and the ability to move toward a target. In the first house, Mars becomes part of identity, so Evelyn identifies with being capable, active, brave, decisive, and self-directed. She may not enjoy being treated like a fragile child. She may push back when others underestimate her. She may prefer challenge over comfort. She may learn more from doing than from being lectured. Purva Ashadha adds persuasion, enthusiasm, confidence, victory instinct, and the desire to inspire or influence. So her action style is not merely aggressive, it is persuasive. She wants to convince. She wants to win people over. She wants to feel that her view has power. This can become excellent in public speaking, leadership, debate, performance, advocacy, sports, entrepreneurship, coaching, motivational environments, and any field where courage and conviction matter. But here's the shadow. Mars in the first can become too quick, too blunt, too reactive, too sure, too willing to fight. So one major nurturing need is helping Evelyn understand that power is not always expressed through force. Sometimes power is expressed through restraint. Sometimes leadership is not speaking first, it is listening longer. Sometimes victory is not defeating someone, it is creating a better outcome. This is where education has to be designed intelligently. Evelyn is unlikely to thrive in a purely passive learning environment where she is expected to memorize without purpose. She needs challenge-based learning. She needs problem solving. She needs debate. She needs applied projects. She needs roles of responsibility. She needs to be asked, what do you think the strategy should be? She needs opportunities to lead, organize, present, build, argue constructively, and defend a point of view. Her Mercury in Vishakha shows a mind that can balance intuition and logic, but it must be trained. If untrained, this Mercury can become scattered between multiple ambitions. She may want to do many things at once. She may start strongly and then shift focus if the emotional excitement drops. So the educational structure must teach her sequencing. First define the goal, then break it into steps, then execute, then review, then improve. Do not simply tell her to study harder. That will not reach the core. Tell her what mastery looks like. Tell her what skill this subject gives her. Tell her how this knowledge can be used in the real world. Tell her how learning this makes her more capable. ENTJ children often respond better to competence-based motivation than emotional praise alone. The question is not, can Evelyn learn? The question is, does she respect the learning system? If she respects the teacher, the structure, and the goal, she can become very powerful. If she sees the system as pointless, she may disengage, argue, challenge, or quietly decide that she knows better. So her best educational environment includes firm mentors, not controlling authority figures. She needs adults who are calm, strong, fair, and knowledgeable. She needs teachers who can withstand questions without feeling threatened. She needs intelligent boundaries. She needs to know that her voice is respected, but she also must learn that respect is mutual. Emotionally, the Moon and Vishakha in the 11th house shows that Evelyn needs meaningful peer circles. Her emotional body is deeply affected by groups, friends, alliances, social approval, and whether she feels included in a larger mission. This child can be highly motivated by teams, clubs, competitions, group projects, leadership roles, events, social causes, or communities where she feels seen. But this also creates vulnerability. If the peer environment is toxic, jealous, competitive in a destructive way, or emotionally manipulative, Evelyn can absorb that and become reactive. She may become overly concerned with comparison, status, recognition, or whether others respect her. She needs guidance in choosing strong friendships. She needs to understand the difference between alliance and attachment, between loyalty and dependency, between social influence and social performance. This is especially important because Venus is in Anuradha in the 12th house. Venus shows love, beauty, affection, creativity, relationship style, and the inner value system. Anuradha is a nakshatra of loyalty, devotion, friendship, emotional depth, research, psychology, and deep commitment. But in the 12th house, Venus becomes more private, hidden, spiritual, imaginative, and emotionally submerged. So although Evelyn may appear bold, assertive, and commanding on the outside, her inner relationship world is far more sensitive than people may realize. This is the hidden INFJ or INTJ layer under the ENTJ surface. She may not easily show vulnerability. She may act strong even when hurt. She may hide emotional disappointment. She may be deeply loyal to a few people and very guarded with everyone else. She may need privacy to process affection, rejection, betrayal, or emotional confusion. Her creative life may also be private. She may be drawn to music, symbolism, psychology, secret stories, healing themes, spiritual subjects, mystical imagery, intense art, or emotionally meaningful creative expression. So do not assume that because she is strong, she does not need softness. She needs softness but not weakness. She needs affection but not smothering. She needs emotional presence but not emotional control. She needs someone who can say, I know you are strong, but you do not have to carry everything alone. That sentence matters for a Type 8 child. Because Type 8 children often build armor early. They may learn to push before they are pushed. They may learn to command before they are controlled. They may learn to hide tenderness because tenderness feels unsafe. So the nurturing work is not to make Evelyn less powerful. The nurturing work is to make her power emotionally intelligent. Her Enneagram Type 3 secondary drive also has to be understood. This is the achiever layer. She wants results. She wants to be good at things. She wants to be seen as capable. She may compare herself with high performers. She may feel frustrated if she is not progressing fast enough. She may become impatient with failure, either her own or others. So adults must be careful not to make love feel performance-based. Praise her effort, strategy, courage, honesty, responsibility, and improvement, not just achievement. If she only receives approval when she wins, she may become addicted to proving. If she is shamed when she fails, she may hide weakness. If she is only praised for being strong, she may never develop emotional vocabulary. The Type 5 layer also matters. Under the action and ambition, Evelyn has a strong investigator pattern. This comes through Vishakha's research quality, Anuradha Venus, and the deeper 8th house tone in the chart. She is not only a doer, she is a pattern reader. She may notice motives, inconsistencies, secrets, power dynamics, emotional undercurrents, and hidden agendas. This can make her psychologically sharp from a young age. But if this becomes anxious, she may overthink people. She may become suspicious. She may test loyalty. She may withdraw when overwhelmed. She may prefer to observe before trusting. This is why transparency is crucial. Do not lie casually to this type of child. Do not make promises and break them. Do not use authority without explanation. She will remember inconsistencies. For Evelyn, the best nurturing formula is truth plus structure plus respect plus warmth. Truth gives her security. Structure gives her direction. Respect gives her dignity. Warmth gives her permission to soften. Now, when we use Nakshatra as the bridge into MBTI and Enneagram, we get a much more complete diagnosis than personality labels alone. MBTI tells us the operating style. ENTJ, strategic, decisive, future-oriented, leadership-driven, result-focused. Enneagram tells us the core defense and motivation. Type 8, protect autonomy, avoid weakness, resist control, assert strength. But Nakshatra tells us where it is coming from inside the birth pattern. Vishakha Moon says, emotionally, I need direction, growth, alliance, and achievement. Vishakha Mercury says, mentally, I organize through strategy, persuasion, communication, and social intelligence. Purva Ashadha says, physically and logically, I act to win, convince, defend, and inspire. Anuradha Venus says, relationally, I need loyalty, depth, trust, privacy, and emotionally meaningful connection. Now you can see the complete child, not just strong-willed, not just smart, not just ambitious, not just sensitive underneath. She is all of these at once. She is a commanding strategist with a hidden emotional depth system. If nurtured well, Evelyn can grow into a leader, speaker, strategist, advocate, entrepreneur, psychologist, researcher, educator, performer, coach, or someone who can organize people around meaningful goals. She can be very powerful in environments that combine action, intelligence, public engagement, and purpose. But if misunderstood, she may become combative, emotionally guarded, over-controlling, achievement-obsessed, or suspicious of vulnerability. That is why early guidance matters. For learning, give her challenge. For emotion, give her trust. For discipline, give her structure. For creativity, give her depth. For leadership, give her responsibility. For love, give her loyalty without control. For growth, teach her that strength is not the opposite of sensitivity. Strength becomes complete only when it can hold sensitivity without shame. If you are raising or mentoring a child like Evelyn, the goal is not to make her more obedient. The goal is to make her more conscious. Give her a role. Give her a mission. Give her a standard. Give her emotional language. Let her lead in small ways. Let her learn consequences. Let her debate, but teach her how to listen. Let her compete, but teach her how to collaborate. Let her be strong, but teach her that softness is not defeat. Because this is the kind of child who can become extraordinary when guided properly, but difficult when constantly controlled, dismissed, or emotionally misunderstood. And this is exactly why nakshatra-based MBTI and Enneagram mapping is so valuable for children and teenagers. It helps you stop reacting to behavior and start understanding the engine behind the behavior. It helps you see whether the child needs structure, freedom, challenge, emotional reassurance, intellectual stimulation, creative privacy, or stronger boundaries. For Evelyn, the reading is very clear. She needs strong guidance, not suppression. She needs meaningful goals, not random pressure. She needs emotional honesty, not drama. She needs leadership training, not constant correction. She needs to be taught how to use power wisely. That is the real diagnosis. ENTJ as the outer operating system. Type 8 as the core survival and leadership engine. Type 3 as the achievement drive. Type 5 as the investigator mind. Anuradha Venus as the hidden loyal heart. Vishakha Moon and Mercury as the ambitious emotional intellectual axis. Purva Ashadha Mars as the victory force. So when you understand Evelyn, you do not just ask, what is her personality type? You ask, what kind of power is trying to mature through this child? Because once you answer that, parenting changes, teaching changes, counseling changes, communication changes, expectations become cleaner, emotional support becomes smarter, and the child begins to feel seen, not managed. If you want this kind of deep nakshatra, MBTI, and Enneagram reading for your child or teenager, this is exactly where a personalized reading becomes powerful. Because every child has a different learning pattern, emotional need, motivational system, confidence wound, relationship style, and intelligence code. When you understand that early, you stop forcing a child into generic advice and start guiding them according to their actual design. So if this reading made you think of your own child, teenager, student, or even your own younger self, get in touch for a detailed personality and intelligence mapping reading. We will look at the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, nakshatra patterns, house placements, emotional needs, educational needs, learning style, confidence pattern, and the deeper MBTI Enneagram engine underneath the chart. Because the right reading does not label a child, it reveals how to guide them.